Okay, so we're gonna do a sequence of poses that just helps to quieten the brain and relieve the body of exhaustion and fatigue. So we'll just do a brief relaxation pose to begin with, and then we will move into the sequence. So just to ground ourselves to begin with, have a folded blanket under your head, a bolster underneath your knees, and then cover yourself over if you feel like you might be chilly. So I'm just going to cover my feet, and then bring yourself down onto the floor. If you're wearing glasses, it's nice to take them off just to allow yourself to release into the floor. So we're not going to do a full body relaxation, we're just going to ground ourselves. Initially just allowing the body to release into the floor. It's always really nice to just relax on the floor after a busy day, especially if you're feeling low in energy. Just the straight line and the support of the floor with just the additional comfort of the blanket and your yoga mat beneath you. Just allow yourself to release into the floor, letting go of the muscles of the arms and the legs. Letting the arms and the legs just flop into the ground. If there are areas of discomfort, then adjust your position until those areas are no longer there, or you've addressed the discomfort. Consciously soften the muscles of the face. Soften your jaw by drawing the lower teeth away from the upper teeth. Soften the tongue in your mouth and observe how you soften your eyes. Fill your lungs from the bottom to the top, and empty your lungs from the top to the bottom. Focus on deep inhalations. As you inhale, observe how your chest rises upwards and outwards. As you exhale, observe how the chest relaxes. Feel the lungs from the bottom to the top. Allow the chest to expand with the inhalation and allow the exhalation to relax the chest, to allow the chest to lower and relax with the out breath. In yogic terms, the in-breath is our energy. The out-breath is our power and our release. So consciously fill the lungs with air. And allow the lungs to empty. As you inhale, feel how the chest expands and the oxygen from the breath absorbs into the lining of the lungs. And that oxygen is pumped around the body. Just spending this time just focusing on the breath. Release the muscles around the face. Release in the inner ear. And then when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, and then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster. Just stay with the feet apart and the knees together, feet on the bolster. Just resting your lower back into the floor. And then very gently roll over onto your right side. And then straighten out the top leg and then come up into a seated position. Just hold onto your knees, observe your energy. Okay, so we're going to do our mountain brook pose. So get your blanket and fold it so it's a kind of a quarter fold, and then fold that down the middle so that it's a long kind of little chunky mini bolster. Take the blocks away from underneath your feet. You don't need those, but keep the bolster where it is, and you're just going to come down onto your back with the bolster underneath your knees, and then that mini bolster is going to go underneath the shoulder blade region, and then you're going to rest your arms over your head like this. So again, cover yourself up if it's a little chilly. Give yourself whatever you need to make yourself feel comfortable. Listen to the breath. Listen to your inhalation and your exhalation. As you know, as we progress into the sequence, I'll speak less and less so that you can spend the time just relaxing rather than listening. Remember, if the pose is uncomfortable in any way, then adjust the pose, give yourself more support, put blocks underneath your hands or underneath your shoulders if you need it. Just allow the body to release into the floor. Feel your energy quieten and transform while you stay. Okay, bring your hands to the sides of the body, resting your armpit, your elbows onto the floor. And then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster. And then roll onto your right side. And then just come up into the seated position. Just observe your energy, observing how your energy has changed. Okay, we're going to do our supported seated angle. So get your folded blanket, just fold it into a little cushion, or if you've got like a prayer cushion, you can sit on that. So you sit on the lift, you sit on the cushion, and then you get your bolster. You might need to bring your bolster up a little. You just have your bolster between your shins, and then you come forward, and then just rest your head on the bolster. And if the bolster feels too low, you can always put the bolster on top of a block, and then you can come forwards. So you just rest your hands on your shins and allow your forehead to rest on the bolster. So just resting forwards, just allowing the body to become quiet. You're not really lifting the chest, you're just allowing the body to rest forwards on, or the forehead to rest forwards on the bolster. Just let the head rest down onto the bolster. Try and keep the neck soft. Keep the spine just gently in a reasonably straight line. Okay, and then just hold onto the bolster, raise your head, just let the bolster rest on your lap for a moment. Just observe how the energy feels a little different, a little more lifted. Maybe the brain feels a little quieter. Okay, put your bolster away for a moment, and then we're going to have the folded blanket for our head, and then I want you to bring to come down onto your back, and I want you to bring a block in between your knees like this. So this is just a supported spinal twist. So you're going to bend your knees, and then you're going to let your knees come over to the side, and then just rest your legs on the floor. Now, if your legs don't come onto the floor, you can put a bolster or some blocks underneath the outsides of the legs, so that you can just so that you can be supported. And then your head is in the same direction as your knees. So you've got your knees bent, legs are in a gentle right angle, arms are in line with your shoulders. Look over so your head is in the same direction as the knees. Just a very gentle spinal twist. So you've got the block between the knees, just keeping the knees compact. Keep your head in the same direction as the bent knees. Just once you're there, allow the body to relax into the floor. It's a bit like Jatara Parivartanasana, isn't it? Just a gentle relaxation version. Okay, bring your knees back to the center, and then just bring them over to the other side. Stretch your arms out. Have your head on the side with the chin in the same direction as the knees. So use whatever you need to support the legs. If you need blocks or a bolster, underneath the knees, then use that. This is a nice, gentle spinal twist. Try not to hold the pose. Allow the pose to completely relax. Allow the body to relax within the pose. Okay, bring your knees back to the center. Take the block from between your knees, roll onto your side, onto your right side, and then stretch out the top leg, come back up into just a seated position. Just observe how your energy has changed, how there's that gentle energy around the spine. Okay, and then we're going to do our side lying stretch. So if you've got an oblong bolster, use that for underneath your, that's going to go underneath your shoulder. If you haven't, then just use your normal bolster. Have a blanket, with a block with a blanket on it, and then we're just going to sit with the legs bent. You're going to stretch out your side. The bolster is just going to go underneath the armpit chest, and then you rest your head on the block and bring your top arm up and over your ear. And then allow yourself to release into the floor. Aim to breathe evenly into both lungs, observing and acknowledging the energizing qualities of the inhalation. Okay, bring the top arm back onto your hip. Push your bottom elbow into the floor and then bring yourself up into cross legs for a moment. Again, just observing your energy. And then come onto your other side, just bending your knees as you were. And then stretch your chest along the bolster, have the bolster underneath your armpit chest, have your block underneath your head, and then rest the top arm over your ear. And then bring that top arm back onto your hip. Push the bottom elbow into the floor and then just bring yourself back up into cross legs for a moment. Okay, so we're going to do our legs up the wall pose. So have a bolster close to the wall, but you don't want to be kind of right jammed up against, you don't want the bolster jammed right up against the wall. Just have it so that it's supporting your hips. So you might also want a belt, you might want to just tie that into a little loop so you can put that over your shins and then that holds your feet in place. So you just sit on the bolster to start off with and then roll onto your back and then stretch your legs up the wall and then hook the belt around your shins, and then so you just sit in on the bolster and then rest your arms just over your head. Okay, bend your knees, just slip the belt off if you've got the belt around your feet, around your shins, and then roll off your bolster, and then come into cross legs for a moment. Just observe your energy. And then for the last couple of minutes, just have a bolster underneath your knees, a folded blanket underneath your head, and then just bring yourself back down into our basic relaxation pose. Just allow the body to completely release into the floor. Let the muscles completely let go. Unhook the muscles of the arms and the legs. Allow the body to release into the ground. Let the body become heavy. And out of that heaviness, observe a feeling of energetic lightness that radiates from the bones and into the muscles. Radiates from the bones into the muscles and into the organs. To the flesh and the skin. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of energetic lightness down into the toes and into the fingers and up into the top of the head. And then wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. Just bring yourself back into this pose of Shavasana. And then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster. Have your feet together and your knees apart, your feet apart, your knees together. Just resting your lower back into the floor. And then gently roll over onto your right side. Stay down for a breath or two. And And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position, just cross legs with your hands in the masty, a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice. That good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the relaxation poses bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created around the heart area. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And very gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. Gesture of wisdom, of physical intelligence and of peacefulness that we can carry into the rest of our evening. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel that you have just given yourself a little lift in your energy and maybe revived yourself a little for your evening. So thank you very much for joining me.